Last episode, I made a trade to free up Cameron McKnight and we saw results. Now to start this episode, I've made another. Now this one is not nearly as impactful by any means, but what it does is free up, or maybe not free up, but maximize what we have in terms of our mentors for this season, which I do think is important. Last episode, I showed you that I had to take Draymond Green off of Saramago and put him onto Jalen Duren. I didn't love that fit, and ultimately I think getting the right mentors for Saramago is extremely important. So I made a trade to turn mentor Kelly Oubre into two mentors, Andre Drummond and Kyle Anderson. I didn't really do this for Kyle Anderson, but I needed him to make the salaries match. Unfortunately, the Sonics would only do this trade if we gave up a first round pick. I think our 29 Spurs first round pick is probably the least valuable first that we have though, and we did get a 29 Warriors second, and that could end up being pretty good. That might be, like an increase of 8 picks or something, and that's in all the way in 2029. So I don't think draft value wise we gave up a ton. The post Curry Warriors could be pretty bad, but ultimately I think this makes our mentorship situation make a lot more sense, and I'll show you what it is now. So we just have Kyle Anderson mentoring Max Christie. It's not going to be very good, but ultimately I didn't do this for Kyle Anderson again. But we have Draymond Green back on Ayrton Saramago, and I think one of the reasons I did this is Ayrton Saramago obviously has future MVP potential, and it is up to me to make sure that he actually hits that. If he ends up being somebody who doesn't win MVPs, doesn't win championships, that's going to ultimately fall on me. And so when thinking about what could maybe get him there, I think that passing and that ball handle, just the playmaking in general, is going to be key for him to become that MVP caliber player. Not saying he's bad at it by any means, but I think he's already so good at everything else that if he can become a little bit better at making plays for himself than others off the dribble, he'll get there. And I think Draymond Green is an excellent mentor to do it, with a couple of passing badges here, and then also interceptor will help him rack up steals, which of course will be another good stat for him. And then we still have Alex Caruso on McKnight, really working on that defensive ability there. Still have campaign on Albert Ellis, and then Andre Drummond is able to mentor Jalen Duren, really shoring up that interior defense. He has a lot of these offensive badges, does Jalen Duren, but not much on the defensive end. Hopefully we can get him some here with the mentorship of Andre Drummond. And now I'm really liking where we're at, both rotation wise with the trade we made last episode. Now mentor wise, I think it's about as good as you could possibly hope for year 2. Everybody that I want to have a mentor has one, and with the exception of maybe Max Christie, I think they're really good fits at every single spot. And then the second half of this is, I think, changing our skill focus here, maybe even putting it on like small forward playmaking. I don't know if changing the position does a ton. If you know, then certainly let me know, but kind of small forward playmaking here, and hopefully that allows him to up his assist tendencies as well as just become a better ball handler to beat his man off the dribble. He can overpower guys who are smaller, but if he's being guarded by a bigger defender, if he can find a way to start to beat them off the dribble as well, he'll become pretty much an unstoppable interior force. Just for now, I'm going to put it on power forward playmaking just in case it does, affect something. It changes from high to very high, so I feel like that should make a difference. But there you have it. Ayrton Saramago trying to up that playmaking here to make him go from pretty much unstoppable to extremely unstoppable. And for the second straight episode, we take on a team that has only lost once so far early on here in the season. Meanwhile, Vancouver trying to get over 500. This team has looked good so far in our spotlight games, hoping to continue that trend against the reigning champions. And even more than that, we've got an in-season tournament game going on with the Red Courts. Can we continue this spotlight game hot streak? Devin Booker no good on the jumper there. Pick and pop for Saramago, all alone, pretty much had half of the court to himself, and he drains the triple. Devin Booker, seen a lot of him so far early on, and that one's off the mark. Albert Ellis on the rebound, forward to Saramago, and the Euro step into the two-handed slam. Just too powerful for Jabari Smith Jr. on that play. Booker gets Christie stumbling and hits the mid-range jump shot afterwards. And all Booker for Houston so far. Max pulls up from beyond the arc. 4-3. Like the juice he's been able to add off the bounce into our starting lineup here. Devin Booker. It's another shot to go. Pick and roll. McKnight and Saramago. Mago for three is no good. And Thompson attacking downhill, getting the basket, and Albert Ellis got a piece of him as well. Now Ellis trying to respond, pull up jumper. Not enough space there. Booker isolation against Christie. Tough step back jumper, and he hit it. Some impressive shot making from Devin Booker there. Ellis awaits the screen, goes downhill. Nice finish with the right. And a bit of traffic there. Gives Vancouver a 1-point lead here as we approach the midway point of the first quarter. That was perhaps the worst pass I've ever seen to a cutting player. But Mago muffs the layup on transition, and Cam Whitmore ends up making us pay for it. I thought Mago has certainly made tougher looks on the interior than that. Don't know how he missed it. It wasn't a gimme by any means, to be fair. Missed there by Houston. Lonzo Ball checked in now. Feeds Duran on the pick and roll and the slam for two. Duran having a really good year in the pick and roll so far. Has had more players that will actually feed it to him down low. And speaking of feeding Duran, it's a nice matchup in the post and scores it for two. Christie feeds Duran again, and he's had himself a little 6-0 run for Vancouver in the first quarter. Devin Booker from the mid-range continues to be pretty much the offense. He has 12 of the 18 points for Houston so far as Josh Green gets a three ball to go off the catch. Booker again. That one stolen away. To Max Christie in transition. Three-pointer falls. 26-18 for Vancouver. Inside to Booker. Christie went for the steal, missed it, and it's now 14 first quarter points for D-Book. Mago left some space top of the key. Gives Vancouver 29 here in the first quarter. Booker leaning triple, too strong. Duran with the rebound. Saramago has a baseline, finds a wide open Lonzo Ball. Can't hit the jumper. Booker in transition. Step back three, and he hit it. An impressive array of shot making prowess from Booker here in the first quarter. Max Christie hits another jumper. He's had a good start to this game. Whitmore off the catch, under a minute left in the first. And these teams are trading jumpers now. Saramago from the mid-range. No good there. Somebody had to start missing it. Şengün in the post. Gets the double. Shoots off of it, but some good help defense there to force the miss. We got one more play here in the first quarter. Trying to find Duran on the pick and roll once more. But this time Houston was ready, so it'll be 32-26 after one in favor of the visiting Vancouver Blizzard. Nice barrage of three-pointers there led the offense in the first period. Let's hop into quarter two now. Leonard Miller trying to keep that three-point success alive, but no good on the catch and shoot there. Jabari in transition with a miss as well. Lonzo feeding McKnight on the inside. Gets it to go through the contacts. This is his kind of time of the game where he's the only member of our, unofficial big three on the court. So trying to make the most of it here. Has some early points. Reed Shepherd, difficult three, and he hit it right in the face of Lonzo. I don't know how he even got that one off, let alone made it. Still by Miller. Vancouver running the other way. Lonzo gets a screen from McKnight, attacking downhill off of it, trying to score on Griffin, but some nice defense there. Jabari matched up against Lonzo. He's doing a nice job holding his ground. Jabari into a fadeaway, and he hits it all the same. Towards the cut once more for McKnight. This time can't get the finish. We've been going to that play often here in the second. Jabari, top of the key three, right down the barrel, and it's down to a 2-point game. Vancouver calls timeout. McKnight from the wing, really good look from beyond the arc off the timeout, but will not pay off. Şengün off with his post fadeaway shots. Nice step back there with tons of space created on it by McKnight. Every now and then he'll pull that out. Not even, I'd say, like less than once per game. I wish he would go to it a little bit more, because he gets a ton of space off of it. Jalen Duren, nice play in transition, showing off a little bit of handle there, surprisingly. Getting himself to the basket. Reed Shepherd with a nice basket there. McKnight on the corner, trying to create something here, and finds his way to the basket. Off glass for two. Pick and roll Houston. Shepherd pulls up for three off of it. This time can't hit the triple in the face of Lonzo Ball. McKnight pulls up, going to his right. Off the mark. Booker, one-on-one with McKnight from the corner. Step back on the baseline. McKnight does a nice job staying home. Ellis going downhill, draws the foul. So far, so good here on the road in-season tournament against the reigning champs. We played some, a really good team last episode in the Kings, but I truly think this is the cream of the crop in the NBA, and we're having a nice showing so far. Saramago checks back in, pass around the horn, leads to a Josh Green corner three. Ballooned up now to a 14-point lead until that Şengün basket there, but after the game was trimmed to 2, Vancouver has really taken over, and that was a nice step back jumper from Mago. Speaking of step backs, we got one here from Booker, not quite as successful this time around. Lonzo, pass out to Green, who hands it off to Saramago. Didn't have time to do much with it. Still ends up in a 3. Tough shot making here from Ayrton Saramago. Duren to Green, catch and shoot opportunity again and again. It falls. He's had a nice shot going for him in this first half. Albert Ellis trying to get going himself. Not much success here in the first with the jumper. Saramago, three-pointer is down, and it's now a 19-point Vancouver lead as we approach the midway point of this game. Reed Shepherd eats into that lead just a little bit here. Lonzo will get a guard and guard screen here on the wing, and get a nice jumper off of it. Houston now playing for the last shot. Devin Booker drills the leaning three. Yet another tough shot that he has made here in this game. And it'll be 15 points. The difference at half, Vancouver. That second half of the second quarter was a really good run for this team. 20 points for Saramago, is the only one in double digits. Only shooting 6 of 15, though. He's just hitting that three-pointer at a high rate, 4 of 9 at the half. Both of our point guards, 1 of 4. See if we can get them going, either one of them. Albert Ellis gets a nice look to start the half, but gotta take advantage of those wide open looks. Instead, it's Houston starting off with an easy basket. Saramago gets a screen from McKnight and slams it right on the head of 2 Houston defenders. Too strong. Saramago right on top of both Jabari and Şengün, making a statement to start the third quarter. Jabari missed the three. Ellis with the top of the key, looking for Saramago, and a nice scoop layup with the left. Separation created there on the screen. Max Christie, a dumb foul on a step back three from Booker. McKnight now the one getting the screen, pulling up for 3 off of it. And for some reason, he just doesn't look comfortable. Those shots look just a little off to me when he has to take kind of those moving threes off of a screen. Doesn't look comfortable taking them. He doesn't make them that often. He's, really good in catch and shoot. He can even hit the step backs, but the kind of drifting to one side off the screen threes, McKnight just hasn't been able to master those quite yet. And great defense there by Saramago, matched up against Devin Booker, leads to a catch and shoot 3 for Max Christie. That gives us a 20-point lead here, so you know the drill. Once we're up 20 in the second half, we're just going to go with the Vancouver makes from this point forward. Kind of see how the team finishes out the game, unless Houston can come back into this. And, to be fair, they did at one point, I'm kind of spoiling it here, but they did at one point bring it back to 8. But for the most part, Vancouver really took over this game, starting at that midway point in the second quarter. And there was a mini run here by Houston, as you're seeing. It's back to 10 points right now, but Vancouver never really let them truly come back and threaten in this game. The scoring was just too good. The shooting was on point in this game from our guards. I think both Lonzo and Albert Ellis were able to get going. Maybe not a ton, but a little bit more here in the second half. And then with the playmaking as well, as they get over 100 points here with still 8 minutes left in this game. I remember year 1 when we had a problem getting over 100 points in general in an entire game, and that team is just not here anymore. And I am very grateful. Our offense is so much more fun to watch here in year 3 than it has been in year past. And Saramago is a big reason why. He's becoming a dominant force. I love it when he's doing like he is right now, attacking downhill. He's a much better shooter this year, but how can you just not like this guy playing near the rim? And interestingly enough, with a couple of late threes here, you're going to see one of them. That 3 would put him at 45 points, and so he set his career high at 47 on opening nights. And here he just broke it. Needed some garbage time to do it this time, so I'm not sure if, this is the game you want to be remembered as your career high, but hopefully he can top 50 here in the near future. Those late threes again ended up putting him over the top. Another 40-plus point double-double for Ayrton Saramago. And Duren, double-double, seems kind of automatically going to do that, at least with the rebounds. Can't remember the last time we watched the game with Duren. where he had less than 10 rebounds, but a very good showing for the Blizzard. Unfortunately, shortly after this game, we would find out that Lonzo Ball has a 4 to 6 week injury, and this is exactly what we could not have happen when we switched to a 9-man rotation. We did not fare well in Lonzo's absence, and overall, after 21 games on the season, we find ourselves at 9-12, falling below 500, a far cry from those back-to-back victories against #1 seeds in the West. We're doing really well when we watch in these showcase games, but in simulation, the team is not nearly as good. Now that we're about a quarter of the way through the season, though, I think it's time we take our first kind of update look as to how everyone is faring and kind of how it compares to last year, of course, with the exception of the rookies. Saramago has 24.7 points. His points are continuing to go down a little bit here. He was over 25 to start the year, but he's still much improved over last year. You know, 1.5 more per game, 2 full rebounds up, over an assist up. The stocks are relatively similar. He's cut a little bit off his turnovers. The field goal percentage has gone up. The 3-point, despite going up a full rating, is pretty much the same as free throws are much better in a couple more minutes per game. Cameron McKnight has fallen just under 20 points per game, but his role has been, I'd say, slightly reduced. I wouldn't say it's been touched a ton, but 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists. I mean, remarkably similar to last year. What I'm liking this year is the efficiency is up, 44% from the field and 38% from 3 right now. Jalen Duren is continuing to get those rebounds up to 12.5 per game so far for us, and while his field goal percentage hasn't compared to what he's done in real life in Detroit, it continues to go up year by year. Assists are much better than they've been in the past. Stocks in a similar spot. With the assists going up, so have the turnovers. They're averaging nearly 2 turnovers a game in his 32 minutes per game. Albert Ellis in his rookie season, 14 points, 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists per game. Still half a block, 2.5 turnovers. I mean, that's less than a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio for Albert Ellis. Shooting under 41% from the field. He's taking roughly 3 less shots per game than McKnight. So only 27% from 3. So really struggling efficiency-wise is the young rookie, but I think it was always going to be a little bit of a struggle in the rookie year for Albert Ellis. We didn't take him for year 1. We're certainly hoping that maybe some of these can jump as the year progresses, but we, or at least I knew, and I've been saying all along since we drafted him, until his badges came along, it was going to be a bit of a struggle for Albert Ellis. We've seen it in the showcase games, and we're seeing it in simulation as well. Lonzo Ball, 11 points, 4.5 rebounds, and just under 6 assists. He's shooting under 40% once more, which you don't love that, but he does take a lot of his shots as threes, which he's shooting 38% on. So you just got to take that into account. Leonard Miller here is averaging 6.8 points per game. This is much better than what we saw last year with Leonard. Just efficiency-wise, I guess the volume is actually pretty similar. He's playing a bit less this year. 47% from the field is really good. His 3 points actually even worse than it was last year, and it was not good last year. We'll have to see how that keeps up. I mean, I'm happy with 47% from the field for sure. Max Christie here, 6.7 points per game, shooting just 40% from the field. And so, honestly, numbers that you could compare to Josh Green, just with worse efficiency. We'll say he's a better passer than Josh Green is and a better ball handler. But so far, in the quest to find out who should start between Max Christie and Josh Green, I think they're playing pretty similarly. Now, We've had Drummond play some games because we, of course, traded for him. But 6 points per game, 4 rebounds, and a block for Andre Hardy, shooting just 35% from the field. Why is our backup center so horrible? These aren't any better than Zeke Naji, and that was not a hard bar to cross. I know Andre Hardy's 71 overall, but man, backup center continues to be an issue, and Josh Green is under 5 points per game for us now. I mean, might be time sometime in the near future to try to put Josh Green back into the starting lineup, have Max Christie come off the bench, because these numbers are much better than what Max Christie has shown us this year. Now, I like what Max Christie has done in at least 2 out of the 3 spotlight games. That's kind of the theme. Some players are playing better when we watch the games than they are when we simulate. And I'd say both Lonzo Ball and Max Christie are in that. I feel like they thrive when we watch. Here in simulation, they're not doing nearly as good. And it's hurting the team a bit when we simulate these games. Who knows, maybe next episode we try out Josh Green. Maybe we wait about 10 or so more games, get a little bit more of a sample size. 20 games is good enough, I think, to start making some changes. So let me know what you think, what some changes could be that we make so we can do a little bit better in simulation. Right now at 9 and 12, we're certainly not out of, let's see what that equates to standing wise in the West. We are just outside of a play-in spot should the season for some reason end after 21 games. Looks to be, as of right now, you need to be about 500 if you want to get to the play-in this year in the West. But that's all I've got here for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back soon with another. And until then, bring the Blizzard.